Okay, I think I will try in English, and but in case I cannot handle that, I will invite Jenny to make it help.
By.
Thank you, guys.
I will also try to do it in English because there are a lot of things that Richard has and I have talked about in the past. They're all in Chinese, so to refer back to some of the old conversations, I will probably break into Chinese and you can translate.
Okay, sure.
I will start with maybe how we have met 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You were in my office when we were talking. This was 2005. So can you tell us what happened in 2005? Things have really changed since then, but maybe you could paint a picture of what it was like in 2005 and leading up to 2005, maybe from your school, right? You were going to school, you graduated college, how old you were, and maybe just give our students a background.
Okay.
What was Richard Liu like in 2005?
Okay. Okay, I think that question quite interesting. I try to introduce myself not from the venture capitalist. I try to describe myself from some nobody in China, and how I changed my career path and choose myself as the job as VC, and I perceive myself not just the investor but the entrepreneur as well, like you guys here. So I grew up in Wuhan, the city in the center of China, similarly like Chicago in the United States. It's a 7 million population big city. And I graduated from the university in Beijing Science Technology, and my major is EE, graduated in 1993. I was very young at that time, only 20 years old, has no idea what about my future. China is fundamentally changed significantly from 1993 to now. So I started my career as an engineer, like maybe a lot of you guys, programmer for 4 years, and have no idea whether I can be the venture capitalist at that time.
Did you know what a venture capitalist was?
No, totally have no idea. I'm not lucky like some Chinese here. It's when I begin as my career as an engineer, I have no concept of the career, but I begin to think about that. What's my interest? What's my passion? So I gradually realized my passion is not working as a programmer. I have quite the broad interest about a lot of things. So I think I need to take some break to rethink myself. What's my real passion? Fortunately, I got some news from newspaper. I got first time to understand there's a concept of business school in China. That's in the year 1995, something like that. So I prepared some examination, and I went to the Shanghai-based business school. So I'm 100% local boy in China. I have no working experience and education experience in the States. That international business school is in Shanghai. You know that the China Europe International Business School?
CEIB, which is an association
CEIB.
with the INSEAD.
Yeah, that's the first international business school in China. And all the professors come from the INSEAD, London Business School, Harvard, Columbia, in the worldwide. So I'm lucky I get go to the school in the year 1998. So after I take a break, changing my career from a programmer to become the business school student. At that time, actually, I speak very shallow English. Not like today, I can talk to you guys. And it's very hard to survive. Basically, all the professors cannot speak Chinese. So even today, I got pressure to speak English, right? So basically, you have to survive in very tough environment and have no time to sleep. Very intensive, like B schools, regular like Harvard, other international B school. So I guess survival. Honestly, in the year 1999, year end of 1999, we got graduation. That just after the financial crisis in the 1998, the job market is very tough. I sometimes go back to my B school, share with my experience with the other students. I told them, honestly, I'm the job loser at that time. It's very tough to get a good job. Compared with my peers in the B school, they have very good education background and working experience. From that angle, I'm not very strong competitor for the job. But I'm lucky in that year, internet just emerged and gradually become booming. And I was just 26 years old after graduate from the B school.
So you graduated college at 20. You
20.
worked for 4 years.
4 years as a programmer, and then 2 years the B school, and 26 years old. The lucky thing is that I can lose something for me is not meaningful. I have very low opportunity cost.
You were not married. You were by yourself.
Yeah, I'm
so
single. I can raise myself very easily. I can change any big decision easily without too much the burden. So the first lesson I got is low opportunity cost. Even though sometimes you have a lot of something you want to lose, mentality you have keep you remind yourself with low opportunity cost is very important. Then you can take risk. So I have chance to really follow my own heart, to say I have the passion about the technology and the innovation. And another very interesting opportunity is that I get some consulting project in the B school for a private equity firm in China. At that time, it's a very new concept. Honestly, at that time, VC, by the end of year 1999, I think in the whole industry, maybe have only 50 people. Very small industry.
New margin.
Yes. Like Intel Capital, SoftBank, IDG, Morningside, that's 4 brand name, new margin, something like that. Few brand name at that time just emerging and continue to survive today.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them just gone. So,
but then the PE consulting project, that's probably maybe described to us what's a sexy job for business school students?
Yeah. I think from that question I want to say, B school give you the exposure to really give you a chance to think about yourself in the context of the business environment. And the B school give you a lot of the opportunity to be access to some very diversified industry and different people. And this give you some kind of opportunity to rethink about yourself. What's your real passion and what kind of people you are. And also you need that context to get more inspiration. So I get one inspiration from that consulting project to work for that private equity firm. That private equity firm, very interesting. That's not VC. It's $400 million private equity they are the early pioneer in PE industry in China. $400 million is a big fund at that time. But they're very interesting. They come to China. It's an American guy, and he wrote a book, very famous as the Miss China.
Oh, I read that book.
The book actually is all the failure experience in China. Michael Coney, the guy, I remember that name.
I actually know one of the investors who invested in one of the business.
Yeah.
And now he has a sure certificate.
Yeah.
Of that
Of
auto parts company.
Yeah, exactly.
In the frame.
My intern job, my consulting project, actually go to the third tier city. You never know that name. Small population, and I went to the manufacturer, the auto part manufacturer. I think that's the disaster, but we try to give them the Chinese way to read their investment, because they are foreigner. They have no idea. So that's why I would like to share my second lesson is that in China, sometimes you have to be, you guys are very smart academically, but you have to be street smart to understand that that's the real world. Sometimes it's jungle rule. You need to distinguish and deal with different type of people with different value. But at the same time, you need to hold your discipline. So I think the PE I mentioned that they got very trouble investment in China because they joint venture with a lot of the people without the same share. They didn't share the vision. They didn't share the same value, and they behave in different ways. So, but that's my first time getting inspiration. Oh, that's the investor industries. Quite interesting. Very challenging. Okay, so I almost finished my story that I choose to be not join some multinational company. I choose to join a startup company.
So the multinational in Shanghai at that time is probably the gold
Very
standard,
attractive,
right? It's the most sought after job.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm the loser from that standard.
So then FYI, when I went to business school, I got declined. I don't know if you recall, there's investment banking or
investment banking,
banking,
consulting, multinational company. That's the three top, the employer.
Yeah.
Very attractive for the business school students. I think only just a few, people like me, we don't follow the market say that's the attractive job.
Mm-hmm.
I think we follow our own heart to see. I really enjoy working with a very dynamic and innovative industry. And that's something, because I don't have too much high opportunity cost. Some of my the classmates, they probably got high payment in the job before they go to the B school. And the lesson 3 is that
I think these days programmers get a lot of pay, right? Compared to when you were going to school.
Well, compared with them, I think I'm the low pay guy. So that's in China. But basically, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to understand that you have to hold what we call the risk-reward profile. You must be the risk taker. Versus like venture industry, at that time, it's not a very attractive industry at all. Only a few people know that industries. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea what I can be in the future. No one give you a guarantee. And after the year 2001, the internet bubble burst, right? Similar like in the States. A lot of my peers in the industry, they left. And because I really love that, so I stay in the industry. And then I think in the year 2004, the market rebound. I met Andy. But still, at that time, VC is a very new concept.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time, a lot of the VC, they travel from Silicon Valley to China, take 3 days, 5 days, meet several companies, make a quick decision, and go back. And totally have no idea what happening on the ground. People make judgment and make decision based on their experience here. And they just make a simple conclusion that, okay, if for example, Yahoo is successful in the States, there will be similar business like copycat business will successful in China. That's a very popular model.
Initially it worked, right?
Initially quite work very well. But honestly, since the year 2006, as the local people, I realized Yahoo cannot beat up the local player Sina or Sohu. Google cannot beat the local player Baidu. Amazon cannot beat up local player Alibaba and Taobao. You just see all the very powerful companies in the US. They just cannot beat up those competitors. And from US investor perspective, they are the copycat model. But as a local guy, we realize they make a lot of local innovation. So you describe them as the Chinese Google, but actually if you look at it go deep to see all their product line and the strategy, it's very different. So I think at that time, Andy, we had a very interesting conversation. He complained to me, why in China the website looks so ugly and so noisy and so many, the
Very
color,
Yeah.
right? So I respond to Andy. I think that in China, if you look at it, I go to restaurant here, quiet, nice, people speak in the very small volume. If you go to Chinese restaurant in China, you are in the free market. And people enjoying that. And that's the way for Chinese people to engage with each other.